Yeah, that line has been really good for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they were especially good on that 3-game road trip last week. I mean, combined in those 3 games, they scored 5 goals, 7 assists, and 12 total points in 3 games. Malkin had 2 goals, 2 assists. Zucker led the line with 2 goals and 3 assists, thanks to his 3 assist outing on Saturday. And Rickard Rakell, not to be forgotten, had 1 goal and 2 assists. But when you ask about it, yeah, they're putting the puck in the back of the net, but the big thing is they're just dominating pace of play too. You
Hmm.
look at what they've done analytically, which you mentioned. I will speak to it. 5 goals for, 0 goals allowed at 5-on-5, 65% of the shot attempts, 71% of the expected goals, and a supremely nice amount of the scoring chances at 69%. It is a dominant performance by these three in games where it's not playing against bad teams. I mean, yes, the Capitals have struggled and they looked awful against the Tampa Bay Lightning last night. But the Penguins' second line dominated in Washington, dominated in Toronto, and dominated in Montreal. There was just no slowdown from these three guys, and you just absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, they're firing on all of the cylinders, and it's so impressive to see. Like I said, it's two guys that are playing with a chip on their shoulder, and a guy that everyone says shouldn't even be on that line, which you might still be right, and maybe he deserves to be back up on the first line to a discussion we'll have in a minute, I'm sure. It's just looking at those three right now. Malkin and Zucker are just feeding off each other so well, and then every time Rakell is just around, he's just ripping shots and doing what he can to produce himself. It seems like it is, like I said, Malkin and Zucker doing their thing, and Rakell just kind of being the Robin. But screw it, it still looks damn good.
Mhm. And here's the thing with Rickard Rakell too. He looks like he's being the Robin, but eventually he's just going to go off.
Yeah,
He's done that already earlier this season. And the question of whether Raquel should go on the first line or Rust should go on the first line, like we said, even though Rust has, not had the best couple of games, nobody on that first line really has. I mean, you can talk about Jake Gensel being on a goal streak that ended on Saturday night, but a couple of those were empty net goals.
yeah.
Um,
They ask how many.
that's exactly right. But looking at that line, right now you have two players at over a point per game. Or
Hmm.
sorry, at a point per game or over. Evgeni Malkin has, let me see here, 16 points in 15 games. And Jason Zucker, you mentioned, he looked great in his first stint with Pittsburgh before the COVID shutdown. That was 12 points in 15 games. He has 13 points in 13 games played right now. Only 4 goals, but he's starting to find the back of the net and he's starting to mesh with Evgeni Malkin, which is the one thing that everybody wanted to see. Can Malkin get a second line mate where he finally gets the chemistry? Because Zucker and Crosby, they just kept not putting that together. Zucker on the third line with Carter and Kapanen last year in the playoffs. Okay, it's all right. Or when Rodriguez was down there, all right, cool. Zucker's looking good there. But now with a healthy Jason Zucker, with chemistry and Evgeny Malkin, it's a really good thing for the Pittsburgh Penguins. What I think makes this line so effective right now, Evgeny Malkin is playing out of his mind. Jason Zucker is very heavy on the forecheck, and Rickard Rakell, if the puck gets on his stick, you're not getting it away from him. So you have a possession guy, you have an energizer bunny that's going to make it hard for other teams to get the puck out and going to make it hard for other teams really to have any breathing room. And you have an all-world player in Evgeny Malkin who is playing like it. Those three styles are meshing perfectly into what you're seeing right now in the last 3 games, and that is a terrific second line for the Penguins.
Tack on just 36 hits for Zucker as well. Third on
Yeah.
the team. That guy's going to do it all, whether he breaks his body in half or not. But right now he's in one piece and looking good. It's so impressive.
Mhm.
It's Do they deserve to be bumped to the first line? I don't know. Listen, those are strategic questions that we're not willing to ask, but
Here's the thing, too. Who cares what the
yeah.
lineup order is when the graphic comes out? That line led in 5-on-5 ice time for a reason
Oh,
on
there you go.
Saturday.
Yeah,
You
there
know,
you go.
Sullivan's going to deploy who is playing best, and right now it's the second line. So even though on that graphic that gets tweeted out by the Penguins before the game, even though that is the second line, if they're playing like this, they're a first line on any other team.